guys? It's Vinny Thrax here, finally dropping the first YouTube video. Today we're going to be talking about salt. There's a lot of controversy with salt, which I don't know why there's the controversy, but anyone with the basic understanding of biochemistry, biology, nutrition, and just understanding how the body works, what the body is composed of, it's extremely easy to tell you that salt is not toxic. So we're just gonna get straight into it. All these posts, they're on my Instagram. You could check it out at Self Healers Protocol, or just look up Vinny Thrax, and you'll find it there. But yeah, it's in no particular order. We're just gonna wing it. It's not gonna be perfect. I'm gonna do no cuts in this, so it's just gonna be completely winging it. Gonna just be talking about everything. So let's just get right into it. So here we have salts. These are ions that are in our body. Here we have sodium, chlorine, and when they turn into ions, we have sodium ion and chloride ion. A salt is an ionic compound. When salts dissolve in water, they dissociate into cations and anions, as shown in the following, equation, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, they're either going to be acidic or basic. Try and tell all these people at the beach that salt is toxic. Salt is found everywhere. It's really funny, honestly. Just more basic biochemistry. This was the first post I made about, salt. So yeah, this is just salt dissolving. And then we got types of mixture. Why doesn't the sand dissolve? Why does the salt dissolve? Ionic compound versus just pure elements. You guys got to understand that ions, they have completely different properties from just pure elements. If you're already reading here, we're talking about blood plasma, and salt is in blood plasma. This is a known fact, so it's kind of strange how people claim that there's no salt in the body when there's salt in blood plasma. Salt is everywhere in the body. But yeah, this is it. Salt. Without salt, there is no life. You cannot live if you don't have salt. This is anode and cathode. We got the salt bridge, the ions, whatever. This is what generates electricity in the body. Salts, salt and water. This is, you know, electricity can flow through it. If you lack salt, electricity cannot flow in your body, and then you're going to have all these health problems. It's very simple. Electricity is everything. We live in an EMF system. Everything in our system, they function off of EMF energy, electromagnetic energy. Some of the quality on these are pretty poor, but you could still see it. Um, no matter where you get the salt from, it's always going to have the same exact chemistry, the same exact form, no matter where you get the salt from. Whether you get the salt from animal products, salt itself, plant products, which plants aren't bioavailable, but everything contains salt and the chemistry is all the same. All right, you can see here, identical formulas, this, and this goat here, he's licking salt on the mountain. He's risking his life. Look at that steep mountain, and he's licking the salt on the mountain. Sea salt is over 90 elements, all in ionic form. It's very important to understand this part because what the Jonas followers are saying with salt being bad, I mean, you got a point if it's table salt. I mean, look what's in table salt. Look at the processing. Iodized salt, added potassium iodide. It's hilarious. I don't even know what I can and can't say, so I'm really have to think before I speak here. But just a ton of added ingredients, and it's just terrible. But look at sea salt. This is pure. It has everything, everything you need. Natural potassium and magnesium. This is gonna hydrate the body the best. If you take in sea salt and water. So really read this. Understand the difference between table salt and sea salt. You want to avoid all processed salts. Just have pure, unrefined sea salt. That's all you need. And that's what we're promoting, by the way. Once again, you can see that salt is in plasma. You can read this. but I think it's over here. Yeah, ions. So 2%. You may think that's not a lot, but it adds up pretty quick. I don't know the exact number. You're gonna see it later here, but yeah, a healthy male will have like 4 to 5 pounds of salt in the body, including bones and all that. Really interesting stuff. So I don't know how you can claim salt is toxic. Everything that the body is composed of, it's like, how could it be toxic if your body's composed of it? It's just like the cholesterol thing. Your body's made of cholesterol, and there's people out here trying to tell you that cholesterol is bad. Now you don't want to be eating fried foods, obviously, and you guys should already know that. There's bad fats, unsaturated fats you should never be eating. We're made of out of saturated fat, so you want to be consuming saturated fat. Why would you consume unsaturated fat like seed oils when your body is made of saturated fat? It makes no sense. And also, the omega ratios are completely off, but whatever. Let's get back to it. If you're already reading this, our body is designed to, well, our kidneys and our body, they're designed to be able to take like a lot of salt, a lot of excess salt at once. And, just read this, read these, pause the video, read it. I'm not going to read every single thing, but it's very important to understand like all this. Um, Especially this one, protection from salt damage. You can over mineralize the body. Okay, you can overdo anything that you're overdoing, this is going to be harmful for you. All right, let's get to the next one. Me, I personally like the taste of seawater. Yeah, if I'm chugging a lot, you know anyone chugging a lot of seawater, they're not gonna want to do it, but a little bit, I do like the taste of salty water, and I love the taste of plasma. Actually, I love it. It's like a salty sweet. Like once you really get used to it, it really tastes like a salty sweet. And especially when I put it on my rife machine, you can really just taste the sweetness to it. And of course, always bless your water. You don't need the rife machine. It helps me a lot. I love it. Um, but yeah, if anything, just bless your water. You should be blessing everything you're putting into your body. But yeah, if you're not reading this, our body or blood has about 9 to 10 grams of salt per liter of blood. And seawater, you can see here, seawater has 35 grams of salt per liter. So our body, 9 to 10 grams of salt per liter. Seawater, 35 grams of salt per liter. So when people, so a Jonas followers or Godas followers will be like, well, then just drink straight up seawater. Well, you can do that, but you got to drink it slowly. Look how much salt is in this compared to your body. You're gonna over mineralize your body if you're drinking a lot of seawater at once. So if you sip it and you drink seawater slow, your body has time to excrete the excess minerals. Just like a couple slides, our body can easily handle excess amounts of salt. That's what our kidneys are designed for. They're meant to process the excess amounts of minerals in our body. Obviously, our bodies are designed to offload toxins and do all that, but your body is made to begin with to like follow all the right programs. So let's say you're not poisoning yourself at all. What are your kidneys being used for? They're being used to excrete the excess minerals that you're consuming. So yeah, look here, 3.5 to 4 times higher, the ratio. All right. So far so good. I hope you guys are already understanding this. But yeah, these are just a couple stories. Just read it. You know, you had Quentin. He was replacing lost blood with diluted plasma, and then all the body needs to do is create new proteins, new fats, new whatever. But a bulk of our blood is just salt water. Other than that, yeah, it's just the nutrients and whatever. Of course. Still think salt is bad. Keep this in mind. Salt is found in all animal products. It has the same chemistry. Salt is in all water, shower water, sink water, rain, lakes, rivers, ponds. I know I spelled pounds there, but ponds. That's funny. Anyways, but yeah, salt is everywhere. Salt is even in the air you breathe. I don't think I didn't even list it there. Every breath you take, you're even inhaling like small amounts of salt. Salt is everywhere. If you ever heard of ether, ether is, plasma is a form of ether. Ether in the air, there's ions in the air that are, reacting, with energy. Energy is traveling everywhere. So when the ions in the air, then you have the energy, traveling through those ions because we need the ions for the energy to be able to flow. And then that's how people, got the free energy. That's ether. Pretty simple. It's all salt. Now we got the biochemistry, salt and plasma. What is a salt? So you can just read it, you get an acid and a base, they combine, and they neutralize and form a salt. You can see a little example here. If you don't know much about chemistry, don't worry about it, but pretty much, you got salt here and you got water. Yep. Anyway, salts, cation and anion, that's what they're made of. These are ions. They have the positive and negative charge. You can see here, these are also salts. All salts. All right. And yeah, you can see here, otherwise known as ether. Salts can act as acids or bases. Just pause the video and read this quick. It's really important to understand. Some salts do not contain reactive ions. For example, salt, like the salt that we consume. The salt is non-reactive. Sea salt is non-reactive. You could pretty much use sea salt as, like, I guess you could say, like a buffer. It's just non-reactive. It's just it's just gonna have support there. Anyways, if you know chemistry, you're gonna understand this part. Just showing the examples of turning into salt, and you gotta understand the pH too. The pH of sea salt is, about 7. You don't want to be taking things too acidic. You don't want to be taking things that are too alkaline. And yeah, salt does not destroy blood cells. They say salt is made of pure sodium when it's not made of pure sodium. Salt is made of ions, so it's going to be made of the sodium ion, NaCl. Um, so I use the brand C90 for my sea salt, and C90 contains 90 to 100 plus bioavailable ions or minerals. These are all ions. These are, they have completely different properties compared to pure elements. So you can read this part here. Ions are essential for health. I mean, we're made of them. This is just another example, dissolving salt in water. They want to talk about, salt being a rock. It's a crystal. I mean, I guess you could say it's somewhat like a rock, but it dissolves into ions, and these ions, they're extremely small. You can't even see them in many cases. So to say that you're eating rocks is just low IQ. I mean, just look at this. I mean, they're just ions. It's just minerals that are already naturally occurring everywhere and in your body. So this is the process of how your body actually absorbs plasma or water plus sea salt. You got water plus the mineral sea salt, and this equals hydration. You don't need to understand all of this, but you can see here, the sodium is absorbed, and then yeah, excess is excreted in the urine. Or you can even defecate, whatever you release from the body, you could be releasing salt. And we're going to be talking about this later. Aldosterone, however you say it. This is a hormone and it regulates minerals in your body, and it has to do with your adrenals. So if you're low on salt, your adrenals are going to be low. So your hormones are just going to be messed up if you have low salt. So for men, you're going to have, low testosterone. For women, your hormones are just going to be all messed up. This is just another example of it. You could pause the video, read these. I hope this makes sense. I mean, it's pretty simple. Just pause it and read it. It's very simple. Osmosis and diffusion. This is what happens in our body when we consume plasma. So we regulate salt and liquid in our body through osmosis and diffusion. You can see here from high concentration to low concentration, we have the water solution. The solution is like our plasma. So when we have the pure water with the minerals, this is going to go, add to our plasma. And then all our body needs to do is create proteins, fats, which is easy because you're eating the correct diet if you're following the Self Healers protocol. You're getting in all your nutrients, you're not malnourished, so this is no problem. And then this gives your body the opportunity to excrete the excess, whatever you don't need, and just toxins that are in the body. It's very easy to understand. Another thing of osmosis and diffusion, I would just pause the video again, read all of it. It's very simple. This is how it works. I'm showing you the facts here, and everyone that claims that salt isn't toxic, they don't show you any facts. They're just parroting what a Jonas or Gotis said. So, it's just low IQ, don't be a parrot. We got more osmosis and diffusion and fluid balance. This is more it's so self-explanatory. Just read it. It's what I've been talking about. Now we have the neurotransmitters. So salt is extremely important because when you have low salt, your neurotransmitters aren't even going to be functioning properly. So you need salt to begin with, and your brain is able to calculate just everything in your body. It understands everything that's going on, okay? So, yeah, look at this. Simple. That's all what I have to keep on saying. Just look at it, pause it, read it, and you're going to understand. This is going to be a close up of osmosis in our digestive system, and we have transferring the salt water into the blood, allowing body to cellular hydrate. Every liquid in the body is salty, including any liquid that leaves it. It shows you all the examples here. Every liquid in your body is salty, like I just said. Your tears are salty, your excrement is salty, your blood's salty, your skin's salty. List goes on and on. I have something later in the slideshow that's going to tell you just everything in our body that contains salt, and it's literally everything. Our body is composed of salt. This is the ions again. It's going to tell you what each ion, specializes in, you could say. But yeah, sodium ions are extremely important, and sodium, they like to latch on to sodium thinking it's so bad. We need sodium, and we need a lot of it, especially in today's day and age when, the amount of poisons that are everywhere. Um, and yeah, whenever you lose any amount of liquid in your body, you're losing mainly sodium, so you have to replenish the sodium. Very important. Again, absorption, just like I showed you, people at the beach, try telling them that salt is bad. It's crazy. Um, we can absorb salt through our skin, even salt water. If you're swimming in the ocean, if you swim in there long enough, you're gonna have to go to the bathroom. And the longer you're in this salt water for, you're gonna have to go to the bathroom quicker and quicker and quicker because your body needs to get rid of the excess minerals. But this is also a great way for your body to hydrate by swimming in salt water, just going in water, even showering, use a shower filter, of course. Any amount of water that you can absorb in your body is good. You just want to make sure you have sufficient levels of salt, of course. So swimming in the ocean is optimal, very optimal, very healthy. It's going to lower your stress, improve your health all around. Again, we got more anode and cathode here. Now we're going to go into the quantum physics of salt and plasma. So when we go into quantum physics and cymatics, you need to understand like everything is just frequencies. Biochemistry is good to understand, but quantum physics is really what you need to know. Just understand that everything is frequency, okay? Everything has a structure to it, and the structure, pretty much stays the same but water and salt can, they can have an infinite amount of frequencies. They can resonate in millions of different frequencies. So I just say it's practically like infinite, they can resonate in. And yeah, sea salt is a crystal that contains an infinite amount of natural frequencies that heal our body. Every ion is a different frequency, and these frequencies structure our genetic code to the optimal frequency. Pretty self explanatory. Here we have the cymatics. This is I believe it's, yeah, water sounds. So pretty much what they're doing here is they're playing frequencies into the water and the cymatics. So obviously I don't know what each frequency here is, but for example, you could be like, oh, this one's 432 hertz, this one is 546, whatever, blah blah blah, 7.83, So these are all different frequencies, and you can see that water can easily resonate in any frequency. Now we have structured water versus unstructured water. I mean, it, it's really hard to get unstructured water, in my opinion. I'm not even entirely sure if it really does exist, because it's like your mind state determines everything. So you should always bless your water. But, plasma is structured water with all natural frequencies. And here's the structured water. You can see all ions. These are all salts in water. Structured water, structured water, all ions. These are all salts. We got sodium here, calcium, lithium, gold, more cymatics. You can see this is the salt resonance. And yeah, I forgot what the dude's name was. It was like, it's this Japanese guy, Nikoto or something. But yeah, pretty much he figured out that your emotions and the way you speak, and if things hold, what type of frequency do they hold? Are they a high frequency like love, or are they a low frequency like something very negative? Okay, frequencies change the structure of plasma. Plasma is the medium for frequencies. This is what I've been saying. So if you want to be healthy, the number one step is having faith in yourself. Your body is made, it's like 70% water. Our cells are 99% water by volume. So you could see like our body is pretty much made of water. So if you live in high vibration, have these positive thoughts, you're going to be healthy. You need to have faith in yourself. This is what's going to make you the healthiest out of anything. High cellular voltage is the key to true health. And by living in high vibration, by blessing your food and water, by drinking plasma, this is how you're going to do it. You're going to raise your cellular voltage this way, and you're going to be healthy. Plasma and sea salt can easily resonate in any frequency. By blessing your plasma with high vibration energy, you'll heal yourself faster and raise cellular voltage. What I just said. This is one of my favorite posts. You know, I guess you could say partially to rage bait, but also it's like, yeah, get the truth out there. You guys shouldn't be parroting everything. Jonas, he did not have a good understanding of any science. He wasn't an intelligent person at all. Um, he did find out, from tribal culture that, obviously eating raw animal products is going to be amazing for you. But other than that, he didn't really know anything, and he kind of just made everything up as he went. But yeah, you can see here, he's clearly dehydrated and toxic. I mean, look at him. I know he's old, but again, people want to critique Darko. Dude, come on. Look at your own guy. Darko, he's still alive. He's doing well. I mean, yeah, he's done a lot of experiments. He claims that cacao chocolate rapidly aged him. He was eating it every day for like 4 years. So when he stopped and he finally started detoxing, he was pretty much claiming that was the main reason for him being chronically sick. But yeah, I don't know when this picture or video was taken. I know, around 2010 or whatever. in my opinion, I don't think a Jonas would have ever made it, past the pandemic, the 2020 pandemic. Um, so much has changed during that time. We got 5G everywhere. And you guys know everything else with the planes in the sky, with all the trails and whatnot. I really don't think he would have lasted. I really don't. But yeah, he's chronically dehydrated. You could clearly see here, as you turn into a raisin, you see, as you get all these wrinkles, you're turning into a raisin practically. And raisins, they're dehydrated grapes. It's easy to understand. This is going to be a lot of reading, so let's just get into it. Sea salt is made up of ions, otherwise known as electrolytes. Sea salt is non toxic. Processed refined salts have added toxic ingredients. We already went over this. There's going to be more slides in this post explaining it. The body is made of water, which is full of salts, ions. Salt is regulated through osmosis in the body. It is never pure sodium or any pure element. Salt is always in ion form, which has completely different properties from pure elements. Every liquid in our body is salty. I already showed you that. We're going to see more on that. And then there's another claim about salt being cauterized. How could sea salt ever be cauterized? You're acting like we're living in, like, I don't even know, like, how hot do you think it is that to where you think salt is cauterizing? Like, this is insane. But yeah, salt isn't cauterized when sun dried. It always retains moisture and stays cool. When sea salt is left out, it evaporates over time, leaving no trace. When water evaporates, it brings the ions with it. So if you want to know you have a high quality salt, take a little bit of sea salt. You can put it on your desk and leave it there. It really depends on the time. Like if it's winter time and it's really dry out, maybe the salt won't evaporate as quickly. But if it's humid out, like during the summer, leave salt on the table and just leave it out. You're gonna come back and you're just gonna see a little puddle of water there. It's evaporating. Well, water, the salt attracts the water and then evaporates from there, taking the ions with it. Jonas claimed to always have amber colored urine. This is a sign the body is extremely toxic and dehydrated. Urine should always be like a tad bit yellow, like a light yellow. Again, you're going to see later on. But look, it's like, you can't claim that a Jonas was healthy. I mean, he looks sick here. We should be drinking plasma. This allows the body to create fresh blood and hydrates the body the best on the cellular level to offload toxins. Just read this, read it for yourself. It's all facts. You're gonna see later on. Um, a lot of the Jonas followers, they don't even show themselves. They don't even show their progress. They lie about their health. They lie about the state that they're in. I've spoken to countless Jonas followers, Goddess followers that avoid the salt and water, and they've only had just negative things happen to them. Like, they'll go on for a couple months and they'll be good, but after, the 6 month mark, they're really starting to feel that the signs of toxicity and dehydration. But yeah, a lot of them have bloating, skin issues, and just overall signs of chronic toxicity. And yeah, they have a lot of gut issues. Like a lot of them, they can't handle dairy, they can't handle eggs. Sometimes they can't even handle the meat that they're eating. That's how dehydrated they are. Come on. Anyways, we got the salt lick. So, these are horses licking a salt block. You can actually, I don't have the videos in the slideshow. I just want to do the pictures, but I really highly recommend you to go to my Instagram and click on this post and look at the videos. You can see, the animals, they're licking salt, they're eating the soil because the soil has minerals in it. And, you'll see. But yep, salt is found everywhere in nature. Salt is found in soil, water, and the ocean. Salt is essential for survival. When carnivores and herbivores don't get sufficient amounts of salt, they eat soil, lick salt, and drink salt water. Salt, once again, equals optimal health. And yeah, this is salt block. Animals, they love to lick skin because the skin is salty. You're going to see that in the video. Sea salt is made of 100% bioavailable ions. Yeah, just pause the video and read it. It just tells you the process of how animals process the salt. Regardless if you're carnivore, herbivore, or omnivore, salt is digested the same way with 100% bioavailability. Obviously, if you have excess minerals, you're going to excrete it. This is what the kidneys are made for. Let's see. Yep, pretty much just telling you more about salt. Pause this. It's very good. I love AI. AI can simplify things just like that. I love it. This is what's in table salt. Potassium iodide, radioactive. That's why you don't take table salt. It's crazy. Table salt is just extremely processed. It's pretty much stripped of all minerals other than sodium and chloride, and then it has a bunch of added ingredients like the potassium iodide, which they try and tell you that it's good for your thyroid, which it is the opposite. I love this picture. He's drinking milk, thinking that it's hydrating him. And don't get me wrong, milk and raw foods, they are hydrating, but you have to think about it. Not everything in milk the body needs, especially when you're past that, infant stage. So you're gonna be getting rid of a lot of stuff in milk still. Like your body doesn't really need the growth hormones, for example, anymore. A lot of the immunity things that are in milk, and yeah, there's a couple more. But yeah, we're always getting rid of whatever the body doesn't serve us. But Jonas Wonderplanets, his primal diet will lead you to dehydration and acidosis. Jonas preaches to not drink water or take salt. He says they are toxic to the body and you have to get everything the body needs from raw foods only. In this post, I'll explain how avoiding water and salt will dehydrate and acidify your body. Over time, this leads to an accumulation of toxicity that can't be expelled. Then you'll get autoimmune systems, headaches, pains, allergies, etc. All the Jonas followers, they have these problems. It's sad. Water and salt has the same chemistry no matter where it comes from. Anything that our bodies is composed of is not toxic. How can a Jonas claim that water and salt is toxic when our bodies have salt and cells are 99% water by volume? He is a senile old man that doesn't understand basic biochemistry or nutrition. Nothing but facts. Only drinking milk, blood, any toxic plant juice, you're still not getting enough water or electrolytes necessary for cellular hydration. This is so easy to understand, especially in today's modern world where we're jabbed 20 plus times. We got the trails over our heads, contamination everywhere, pollution, etc. So, yeah, these foods are going to be slightly hydrating, but they don't have enough electrolytes or water for you to be hydrated over time. In our modern world, you need to understand that wild animals, they eat their natural diet from the start and they never poison themselves, at least minimally. So, they're not going to get dehydrated like that. And you can see too that animals, they stay healthy their whole entire life until like a year or like 6 months before passing. They're in perfect health right before passing. We, humans, you could see us start deteriorating, 20s, 30s nowadays. This is because dehydration. I used to have, some health issues, whatever. Again, this is dehydration and toxicity in the body, possibly malnourishment too. This is what every single Jonas follower has, or majority of them. Acidosis, all the symptoms. Their body is so acidic, the lack of water, lack of electrolytes, and they're taking a lot of toxic remedies like the vegetable juices, um, the rotten meat or the high meat, which is really acidic. So you're really just acidifying your body. He also recommends you take rotten berries, which are extremely acidic and they are very toxic as well. So this is why Jonas followers get acidosis very quickly, very quickly. The whole foods diet, is healthier than the Jonas diet. I promise you. So just don't waste your time with the Jonas diet. You may as well just do the Whole Foods diet at that point. Are you drinking enough water? Your urine should be, I guess you could say, yeah, like a 1 to 4. Anything past that, and yeah, I would say that you're dehydrated and you need to drink plasma ASAP. And yeah, majority of these Jonas followers, their urine is pretty much down here from 6 to 8, maybe 5 to 8. Um, I heard some people say, well, if your urine's pale, then you're just excreting too much water. Well, again, your kidneys can also handle large amounts of water. Again, our body's made of water. Whatever body doesn't need, it just sweats out and releases through, the waste organs. We can easily get rid of water and salt in our bodies. Like, this is what our organs are designed to do, like kidneys, colon, skin. Yep. Jonas followers, they struggle with these problems, especially these: thirst, dry mouth, fatigue, and headache. Dizziness, too. Um, Even seizures. There was a couple of Jonas followers, they were having seizures because they were so they were lacking so much salt and just dehydrated. But it's especially the salt. Our cells are 99% water. Why would you avoid water? It's the most hydrating thing you can drink when you add a sufficient amount of minerals to it. Salt is made of ions, not pure sodium, never turns into any pure element in the body. Salt always remains as ions. Salt is simply electrolytes. I know you guys all know what electrolytes are. I should have said that way earlier, too. Salt is simply electrolytes. Start drinking plasma. This is what I drink. This is my water bottle. I love it. Just get a glass water bottle, pour your plasma in there, 4 to 9 grams per liter. And yeah, I am not kidding. The Self Healers Protocol will cleanse the body over 100 times faster than the Jonas diet. Jonas says, like, some of the detox, all right, I don't know the exact numbers, but I've heard numbers of like some detoxes taking like 20 years. With the Self Healers Protocol, you can guarantee to be in perfect health if you're following strictly for like 2 to 3 years. And majority of the detox you're going to do is going to be between the 6 months to a year mark when you start. So you got 6 months to a year of detoxing, and then you're pretty much feeling solid overall, and you just need to, have that consistency. Just keep on going, and yeah, you're gonna feel amazing. I feel amazing all the time, pretty much. I mean, obviously here and there you feel a little off, but again, I understand all the symptoms. Whenever I have symptoms, what does that mean? Drink more plasma, do this. Like, I know what to do. I understand what my body's trying to tell me. Again, this is my Rife machine. I have it on the Schumann frequency. This is gonna structure the water, and the water is already structured, but I bless the water as well. This is my pulsar, and we got my sea salt. Use the brand C90. Use the livestock version. I think that's the best one you can get. If you don't have access to get C90, use Baja Gold. That one I'm sure is sold worldwide. You shouldn't have an issue getting that. If you still can't get that, just go for a very high quality unrefined sea salt, a Celtic salt. Make sure it's unrefined from a good source as well. Salt is not toxic. You can see this is you can clearly tell it's a crystal and not a rock. The quality is, I don't know why Instagram destroys the quality of some of the things, some of the slides I have. Salt is made of ions, otherwise known as electrolytes. There's nothing toxic in salt. The only way salt can harm you is if you take too much at once with no water or not enough. This is going to over mineralize the body. Buffalo. So let's just say you drink a ton of plasma, but you're getting enough water. You're going to easily be able to excrete all the excess minerals. You do need water to excrete these minerals, so that is a very important point to understand. Ionic compounds, this is pretty much going to what I was talking about in the beginning. You have regular sodium, you have chlorine, and they turn into the sodium ion and the chloride ion. Salt is not pure sodium, it's ionic sodium, which is an essential electrolyte. Salt can never turn into pure sodium or any pure element in the body. Whenever you take salt, it remains as ions, and it's always ions, even to the point when you finally excrete it, it's always going to be in ionic form. If salt truly turned into pure sodium in the body, your body would explode. It's hilarious that you can even make such a claim. It's insane. What are ions? Just read it. More cation and anion. You got the positive and negative charge, and together, we need the balance between the two. Our bodies are made of the balance of protons, electrons, the cations, anions, the whole 9 yards. We need both the positive and the negative charge. And then this is how electricity flows, okay? Just like a battery, think of any controller. You have the plus side and the minus side. This is how you're going to get the energy to flow. It's cation and anion. Ions are charged particles. Now, this is more like science, um, but I'd still say chemistry is still important to understand because we use it so much still. So that's why I still, acknowledge it. But yeah, just read this. Cations are positively charged, anions are negatively charged, and salts are a neutral combo of ions. They can mix and match, and then ion strength, it's going to be the measure of overall concentration. So you can see here we have salt, and here we have another salt. Very simple. Ions do not have the same properties as pure elements. Like all of these, there are, all the plus, that's how you know it's an ion. And yeah, they don't have the same property as pure elements. For example, we have the potassium ion. Potassium ion is not going to have the same properties as pure potassium, just like lithium. We all know lithium is very reactive in its natural state, but an ion is a salt. This is exactly what I was just talking about. So we have the balance of the cations and anions. This is going to, allow the electricity to flow in our bodies, necessary for everything we do. Salt water keeps the body at a healthy pH. When you make plasma, the pH is about 7, which is what your body should be. It should be in like a neutral state. You don't want your body being overly acidic, just like how you don't want your body being overly alkaline. There's negatives to both. Um, you know, like when you consume some acidic things and you consume more alkaline things, yeah, they can benefit you, but when you overconsume acidic things, you're gonna over acidify the body and get acidosis. And if you consume too many things that are alkaline, you're gonna over alkalize your body, which is also not good for you. So you want to keep the balance. It's all about the balance. Everybody knows, and it's just common sense that if you overdo anything, it's going to be bad for you. I love it. I love this one. The body is composed of salts. These minerals are body's 6% minerals, but that's not all. We have calcium, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, sodium, chlorine, chloride, whatever, magnesium, other. These are all salts. Our body is greatly made of salts. You can see here, just pause the video. Important ions in the human body. These are all salts. Salt equals electrolytes. Salt is not pure elements and never will be. Sodium in its natural state is a highly reactive metal, but sodium ions, they're necessary for the body's functions. Chlorine, it's a toxic gas, but chloride ions are very important for maintaining fluid balance and blood pressure. You can see they have different properties, and our body actually needs the ions, the pure elements. Our body doesn't need, and it's bad for us. You know, Pure sodium, it's just so reactive, it'll explode. It's just like, and Jonas said he was like, there's millions of mini explosions going off at once, and per gram of salt, it's like you're losing 2 million, 2 trillion blood cells or whatever. This is crazy talk. This is crazy talk. I've taken over like 1,000 pounds of salt in my life. I think I would have exploded by now, don't you think? And by the way, I look healthier and better than all the Jonas followers. It's really just funny that, everything just speaks for itself, you know? Like when you look at a lot of these Jonas followers and people preaching like don't take salt, they're unhealthy. They're mentally unhealthy. The list goes on. And they're, low IQ, obviously. This is terrible quality. But yeah, pause the video, read it. Salt is easily absorbed through osmosis and diffusion. Nobody is ingesting 20 plus grams of salt at once with no water. It's very hard to over mineralize yourself. Who do you know that is taking 20 plus grams of salt at once? To give maybe like a comparison, that's like saying eat 5 pounds of liver in like 5 minutes, a minute per pound. How do you think you're gonna feel? Like your body is gonna be like, oh, I just got a ton of nutrients at once. I just got overnourished, and you're gonna feel pretty wonky for, it could even be dangerous on your body. I mean, but yeah, if you consume 20 plus grams of salt at once, which nobody is doing, especially without any water, how are you gonna over mineralize yourself? Seriously, just like I showed you in the past slide, our body has 9 to 10 grams of salt per liter of blood. How much salt is recommended per liter in plasma? 9 to 10 grams. In the beginning, when I tell people to start SHP, I recommend like 4 to 6 grams because typically your body's already dehydrated and it needs to start hydrating slowly. Because once you start hydrating rapidly, like if you just start self healers protocol like that and you go straight into the 9 to 10 grams of salt per liter, you're going to be detoxing instantly. So, this can be uncomfortable for a lot of people when they first start, right? Which is why, there's all this controversy about the protocol, but also the protocol is made for people that are chronically sick and don't have much time left. You have to think about it. If you don't have much time left, you need to do something ASAP. And the self healers protocol, it's going to do that. Yeah, you're going to have symptoms and you may kind of feel off, but after those initial like 6 months, you're really going to feel amazing. But if you have high cellular voltage, you're going to feel good regardless. When you have high cellular voltage, you're immune to the symptoms of toxicity. And, just living in high vibration, same exact thing. It's going to keep you immune to these symptoms. We call them odd cells coping. But yeah, anywhere salt is found, it has the same composition no matter where you get it from. In our bodies, the salt has the same chemistry as the salt in the water, same exact chemistry, same composition, same bioavailability. Yep. Sodium rich foods, you're not getting enough sodium. Look at this. Even like pork, salmon, bacon. This is not enough sodium. You need to consume 2,000 calories of pork to get 21 grams of salt. Well, this is sodium. So you need 2,000 calories of pork to get 21 grams of sodium. That's insane. And then celery is even 10. And Jonas promotes that you need to drink celery juice to get your sodium, or you just get your sodium from pork, salmon, animal products. And of course, they do have sodium. Yeah, but is it enough? What about what your body has to get rid of in the process? For example, when you're digesting, any animal product, any food, you're going to have the excess carbon. That's a waste product. All other waste products that your body doesn't need. And then, the excess that your body doesn't need. So, whatever sodium is in this, your body is going to take instantly and hold on to it. Now, sauerkraut and pickles, 135 grams per 2,000. These vegetables, they have a lot of defense chemicals to them. And when we talk about the bioavailability of these foods, they're not as high as the animal products. So I don't know necessarily if you're actually getting this amount of salt per 2,000 calories, but that's still insane. That's insane. You got to eat 2,000 calories of pickles to get 135 grams of sodium. That's got to be like pounds of pickles. Like seriously. Ions in the human body. Again, what I was talking about before, the buffers, like salt acts as a buffer, for prevent the pH from getting too acidic or too basic, too alkaline, too acidic. You know, what I spoke about enough times already, the kidneys filter out excess salt ions from the body and keep ions when they are needed. So, a Jonas followers, they're not taking enough salt, right? So their body is gonna try and hold on to the salt for as long as possible. As long as possible. This can't be permanent, obviously, because the body just gets overly toxic in this modern day and age. And yeah, you have all the waste products from all the raw foods that you're still eating. I just really can't even believe it that they say salt is bad. Anyways, more about the kidneys flushing out excess salt. Just pause the video and read it. Spoke about it enough. Rene Quinton, he discovered a 98% match between our blood and seawater, also called ocean plasma. Every liquid in our body contains salt. The body is 99% water by cellular volume. We are made of diluted seawater. So you can see here, the blue is the seawater, the red is blood plasma. It's only different proportions. Only different proportions. Obviously, we have very low amounts, this, because our body doesn't need it. It's like what's necessary for the body. It's just salt obviously is made of mainly the sodium and chloride. Then you have all the other minerals. It's very simple to understand. It's very similar, just different proportions. Human blood contains 9 to 10 grams of salt per liter. We already went over this. Our bodies have 90 plus salts. Even 100 plus salts our body probably has. This is why C90 is the recommended salt to take. It contains all the salts that your body needs to thrive. Again, you can see here, this is more like in depth. Yeah, just pause the video and look it over. You got blood plasma, the fluid. Beautiful. These are the people that are trying to tell you that salt is bad for you. You have this guy, scoliosis. This guy's gonna get on the list in time. I'm not sure why the text is backwards, but he's pretty much asking about if anybody has poop because he wants to eat poop. These are a Jonas followers. A Jonas brainwashed these people into believing that eating poop, drinking pee, eating rotten meat, these are like the main detox remedies. They all taste terrible, so I don't know why you're putting them in your body. If you want to eat high meat once in a while, okay, go for it. If you want to eat a fermented, animal product once in a while, go for it. It's not really going to harm you. But these guys, they're promoting it to do it often. Godis, he went bald because he was so dehydrated and malnourished, so he got, the hair transplant, whatever, which is he still doesn't admit. All these guys are grifters. But dude, this guy, dude, holy cow. Yeah, 15 before starting primal. Yeah, obviously malnourishment. Did you paint your nails red at 15? Just low test. But this is him now. So this is him at 15, and this is him now. I think he's like 19 or 20 now. So he's all like, he said he was like 4 or 5 years on the Jonas diet. Picture any of these guys trying to do any physical activity. It's a joke. Picture this guy trying to run. Picture him trying to lift any weight. He has terrible scoliosis, terrible hunchback. I don't even know why he's wearing this cap. Just goofy. But this is hilarious. This is a good laugh. Kudos to you for posting that on your story. I mean, and you know what's funny? Just look at him, and then like go to his Instagram page and watch his videos. See how he acts. Look at him at 15. Can you really imagine like this kid at 15 acting like how he is now? Like it's all a coat. Like this guy is a king coper, and he loves to project. Um, he's very unhealthy, low testosterone, obviously, painting nails. Um, definitely messed up in the head. But like, yeah, painting your nails red, it's like crazy. Like that's when I can't get past that. Like I don't know why all these young people, 15 years old, a guy painting your nails. Like I don't know. And then you know what's funny? This guy, he was trying to give like relationship advice or like saying like, oh, if you got a girl, whatever, doing the plasma. Dude, have you ever spoken to a girl before? Have you ever hung out with a girl before? It's quite hilarious. So then we got Goatus here holding up the 666, satanic, whatever. Anyways, we're gonna talk about this guy a little more. Guy or girl? Be honest. Osteoporosis. The low salt intake, it's gonna lead to osteoporosis. Your bones are made of out of salt, so when you don't get enough salt or you get inadequate amounts of salt, and your body goes as long as it can, it's just so dumb. But pretty much when you're lacking salt for that long, your body is going to steal the salts from like your bones, for example, and like the organs, and just steal it from everywhere. So yeah, you're going to get osteoporosis. Even here, like he's like, what? So weird. And then what I was talking about before, like the aldosterone, the adrenal insufficiency, inadequate amounts of salt, it's going to make your adrenals poor. Your hormones are going to be wrecked. You're going to have low testosterone, low test. Scott, low test. Goatus, low test. All these no salt guys, they're low test. Yep, electrolyte imbalance, dehydration. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, this is pretty much, some things that the body is composed. This is, the salt composed in the body, right? So you got sodium location, the fluids, concentration, and you got here bones. Bones, a significant amount of sodium is also stored in the bones. Let's reread that. A significant amount of sodium is also stored in the bones. So this guy, he's against sodium, right? So you're getting so the his body's stealing sodium from the bones. In a few years, this guy's gonna have such bad osteoporosis. He's not even gonna be able to move and function properly. He's not going to be on the diet for much longer. Like all these guys, everybody following the Jonas diet, they're really not going to be on the diet for much longer. They're going to be lying to you pretty much. Yeah, what I was just talking about, the aldosterone production. When you're not getting enough salt, your hormones are going to be screwed. Here's another list. Everything that contains salt in the body. So, how are you going to claim that salt is toxic when our bodies are composed of salt? Just like how our bodies are composed of cholesterol, for example. How is cholesterol going to be toxic when our body is made of cholesterol? Very confused. Can you explain this? Can you explain why our saliva has sodium chloride? Why do our tears have sodium chloride? It's just so funny. I could keep on going back and forth. Now think about glycogen. We need the minerals to be able to do like physical activities, and glycogen goes hand in hand with the amount of salt that's in your body. These guys, none of them have high glycogen. They have low glycogen, and all the Jonas followers, they have low glycogen. They can't do physical activities. They're always tired, always exhausted. They never do any physical work or the bare minimum. And I'm talking about like 90 to 95% of them. Yeah, we got maybe a few outliers, but give it some time. It's going to catch up to every single one of them. But yeah, let's talk about the glycogen quick. Yeah, I would just pause it. Yeah, salt can aid in glycogen storage by retaining water in the muscles. There's some messages I'm getting from people. I'm gonna do another video in the future that is pretty much mainly just messages from people and what people experienced. And what most people experienced on the Jonas diet is just not good. Just pause the video and read these. It's insane. But yeah, this guy, he did the no water and salt thing. He started getting breakouts, white tongue. They're just dehydrated, and he started drinking, the water, and he was back to normal, right? So my friend told me a story one time. A Jonas and their friend went hiking, and it was so hot that he refused to drink water. And by the middle of the hike, a Jonas was literally dying of dehydration, and they were literally telling him to drink the water, and he didn't because he was on the floor, practically dying because he was so dehydrated. Crazy story. And I asked this guy on Telegram, and you weren't drinking water before? No, because I got brainwashed by the Jonas people. The only reason I even thought of this because I felt so dehydrated and tired all the time. You know, I have people constantly hitting me up and they're like, I follow the Jonas diet, and you're right, bro. I am dehydrated. I have acidosis. So you have like two sides. Half of the people are saying, half the people are just lying to you, or it just hasn't caught up to them yet. And then the other half, they're already feeling all the problems, and they reach out and they're honest. But yeah, the self healer's protocol healed his arthritis in 1 week. It's been very positive overall. There was a significant amount of improvement to my hair loss, digestion, inflammation, sleep, blood pressure, muscle spasm. Only thing that hasn't gotten resolved yet is my dandruff. I feel better than ever, and my plasma is changing my life. And plasma is changing my life. Yeah, the dandruff's gonna go away. You just got a dry scalp. This is dry skin dehydration, so you're gonna have the inflammation to force the hydration to the scalp, which is partially what dandruff is. But yeah, these are all signs of low amounts of salt in the body. Bad sleep, low blood pressure, muscle spasms, even like seizures and stuff. Some people are having on the Jonas diet, and it's a long one. I've been eating raw meat since November 2024, and back then when I started, I felt good. But then after a long time, I started feeling major symptoms of dehydration like dried mouth and skin, fatigue, dizziness, brain fog, constantly thirsty, and insomnia. A lot of these Adrenaline followers, they have terrible insomnia. They cannot sleep, and it's just like, what's the word? They're just like full adrenaline all the time, and they cannot sleep. Like, this is terrible. Like, your body's dehydrated and you're lacking minerals. If you're struggling with insomnia, take a pinch of salt, put it in your mouth, drink some water. You're gonna fall asleep. Just don't stare at any screens. Just close your eyes, and you're gonna go to sleep. I started drinking plasma June 1st this year, and so far, majority of the symptoms are gone. My skin is better. I feel more energetic, calm, and also in the way I think and think I could think properly. Don't have problems eating dairy anymore. A lot of Jonas followers, they have problems consuming dairy and eggs because they're so dehydrated. When you consume these foods, there's a lot of excess that your body still has to get rid of, and your body needs water to be able to, process all these nutrients. These are extremely nutrient rich foods. So if you don't have the water, how are you going to be able to hold on to these nutrients? And you're going to feel terrible. So you're not going to be able to handle the milk, handle the eggs, even meat in worst cases. Before he did the self healers protocol, he had brain fog, fatigue, bloating, arthritis. Um, he was eating dairy, but he couldn't digest it properly. Well, now he can digest it without problem. Besides that, when I eat cooked eggs or meat, I don't feel bloated either. It ain't optimal like raw, but yeah, drinking plasma got me feeling more awake mentally and spiritually also. This is more like a personal thing, but I can say that I'm noticing things in myself that others couldn't before. I completely resonate with this, and many other people resonate with it too. When you're finally hydrating with plasma and you're finally living a healthy lifestyle, as you offload those toxins, you're finally going to feel good in your life. And when you get awakened, when you get healthy, you're really going to have that spirituality ascension. Just, you're going to feel amazing. I feel good all the time, and the times I don't feel good, you can say, I still feel amazing. It's just that I have a slight symptom and I'm like, I need to drink more plasma. And I drink more plasma, and guess what? I feel amazing. Okay? And you could just tell it's not toxic. Like, I've been doing this for 3 years. I should have said this from the get go in the beginning of the video, but yeah, I've been doing this for over 3 years, drinking plasma, not even following the diet completely. Like I only locked in on the diet since the past year. So it's been like a year since I've been strict on the diet, like very strict, no cheat meals at all. Um, and yeah, just drinking a lot of plasma, of course. It's the way, man. You feel amazing. Something I've thought about a lot lately is I can actually feel my heart getting contact with my body now. I think we tend to distance ourselves from our body because we think it's scary, some kind of denial. Being spiritual could mean so many things, but I think being true to oneself is key. And this was just a response to plasma guys being deep into just following your intuition, your spirituality. Just whenever you drink plasma and you're on the self healers protocol and you have faith in yourself, you have faith in just everything, you bless everything, you could tell that the world, it starts working in your favor. Like, and believe me, it really does. The world really starts working in your favor when you have faith in yourself. But when you follow self healers protocol and you get past that initial like detox phase, if your voltage is kind of low and your voltage increases, you feel invincible. Like I remember like the first time like my confidence like skyrocketed. I was like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. Why would I ever stop this? And I keep on going and it's still just improving week by week. Even if it's by 1%, I'm always improving on the self healers protocol. And this is something that the Jonas followers can't say. They'll be stagnant for months, if anything, and then just start feeling really bad symptoms. It's going to catch up to everyone. And yeah, this is the end of it. Like and subscribe. This is my Instagram, Self Healers Protocol, and my name is Vinny Thrax. If you enjoyed this video, yeah, like and subscribe, ask questions. I hope this was informative. I know it was a very long video, but it's very necessary, and a lot more to come. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one. Stay blessed.